This is the HPT.
Sit right down, put on your poker face. You with the big dogs now. Better bring your best game. Talk trash all you want. To me, it's all the same. You won't leave with much when you come in second place. And I'm the one with the stack showing 7 to the jack. Gonna cry to your mama, cause I'm sending you back. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand. Last man standing with the money in my hand. I'll be the last man standing with the money in my hand.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HPT. I'm James Larson, joined by professional poker player Mr. Robert Williamson III. This week, another big show, the HPT on the road here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel, Kansas City. We're going to give out a lot of money tonight. Up top, just over $103,000 in cash.
A six-figure payday waiting for our new champion. We want to give this money away.
So out of the 9 players here, only one has been at an HPT final table. That's Travis Remmert. This is his second HPT final table. Martin Abraham is the only player at the table with no previous HPT cashes. Every other player at this table has cashed in the HPT. Martin Abraham changed that right here in Kansas City. We have 9 players that are going to sit down at this nationally televised final table. So people didn't tune in to hear us talk. They want to see the action. So with no further ado, let's head down to the table, meet the players, and most importantly, find out what we're playing for.
And up top, a six-figure payday waiting for our future HPT champion, $103,326.
So great to be back here in the Kansas City market. 312 entries, prize pool of just over $449,000. Frank Patty's leading the group, but everybody's very close behind.
I was going to say, he's got a lot of chasers right behind him.
And I'm going to remind everybody one more time. Up top, just over $103,000. Truly life-changing cash, and we're glad you could join us tonight here on the HPT. Blinds are 10,000, 20,000 with a $3K ante. Folded around now to Daniel. Looks down at pocket sevens.
I don't know why I always love sevens. Maybe it's because of the slot machine, that whole, or maybe I was born on the seventh. That might be part.
That could be. Daniel's going to raise to 40,000 with his pocket sevens. Action over to the 8 seat of Matt Lawrence. Looks down at King 10 of spades. He's going to fold. Now we're over to Martin in the 9 seat. First hand of the night here on the HPT. Martin's going to make the call with ace-king.
Yeah, you know, I like to mix it up there. Sometimes I like to just flat with ace-king. Sometimes I like to go ahead and re-raise pre-flop.
Folded over to Brian Moon now. He's going to make the call with ace-10 of clubs.
Well, that's the only nice thing. When you do have ace-king and you just flat, you pick up some other weak aces calling behind you a lot. So instead of isolating yourself against the better hand.
3 players to the flop. Comes out queen, 6 tray, couple of diamonds. Brian's going to check over to Daniel. Daniel continuates, 85,000.
And I like this bet, absolutely. With only one overcard to his pair, you can't let any free cards come off there. Charge the maximum price.
Brian gets out of the way, and Martin is going to make the call. So heads up to the turn, Daniel and Martin. Turn card is the 4 of spades.
Daniel's got to know that that's a good card for his hand. Wow, I'm kind of surprised he checks there.
He's got the pair now and the gut shot straight draw. Both players check. We go to the river now. And the river is the 8 of hearts.
And it's a nice dry board with that 8 on the river. Even though it is an overcard to his pair, it's very unlikely to have helped his opponent.
I was about to ask, what would you like to see Dan bet here? But he's going to check over to Martin. He's going to maybe let Martin do it for him.
I love it. I think it's a great spot for Daniel to check. Once he decided to check the turn, definitely check the river. Give Martin a chance to bluff at him. And Martin took the bait.
Martin bets 200,000. Daniel's going to look him up. And Martin is going to see the bad news. Daniel's going to win the first hand of the night here. Pot of 727,000 chips.
And Martin had a lot of showdown value there. I'm kind of surprised he bet that.
It's James Larson and Robert Williamson III broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino, Kansas City. This is the largest casino and most games offered in the entire Kansas City area. We're located just east of downtown KC. All right, action continues tonight. We're trying to give away a whole lot of money up top, just over $103,000. But right now, Robert, all the players guaranteed just under $11,000.
That's still a significant payday, but I'll tell you what, reaching to the top, it's a six-figure payday. That's what they're all after.
Man, Kenny's going to raise to 40,000 with his King Jack. And now over to Brian, who's on the button in position here. With a re-raise, ace-9 of hearts, re-raises to 92,000, a decent hand, and he's on the button.
Yeah, I'd like his position in this, but particularly weak aces, re-raising with them gets you in trouble.
Fold it around now to Kenny, the original raiser. See if he can get away from this hand.
Yeah, once he made the original raise, he's got to call this, see a flop, and hope to hit.
You know, we've seen Brian a lot, Brian Moon here on the HPT, a very aggressive player, not afraid to get chips in the middle. And Kenny's going to make the call. So it's ace-9 going up against the king-jack. And the flop is king-6-4 rainbow, so that flop hits Kenny's hand perfectly.
It sure does.
Kenny's going to check over to Brian, and look at Brian. We just talked about him being the aggressor. He's reaching for chips, 111,000.
Yeah, that's what you do. When you play against an uber-aggressive player, you have to check raise, and you have to let them take the charge of the action sometimes.
Now Kenny's going to raise to 261,000.
It looks like Brian with ace high is going to make the call. Wow.
He is going to make the call.
A little surprised by that call. He's definitely floating.
Brian doesn't like to be pushed around. You know, I've seen this guy play a lot of poker, and, you know, he's maybe not playing his cards. He's playing his opponent here. Turn card now. It gets worse for Brian. It's the king of spades. Now Kenny's all in.
Wow.
You check there, maybe?
I absolutely check. Yeah, that next king give me three of a kind. I got to let that aggressive player behind me have a chance to hang himself.
Yeah, I think he had the fish on the hook, but he let it go too soon. Well, Robert, early on here, we're seeing Kenny Baggett pick up some steam and, most importantly, stacking a lot of chips.
He sure has. I'll tell you what, the momentum is on his side.
And that's a good thing here at this nationally televised final table. A lot of money up top, just over $103,000. It's time to step aside for a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back after these messages. You're watching the HPT. Welcome back to the HPT. James Larson and Robert Williamson III broadcasting from the Ameristar Casino Hotel, Kansas City. And look at that. We got a new chip leader.
Sure do. Kenny Baggett rode those 2 7s all the way to the top of the chip counts.
Right behind him, Frank, Travis, and Matt rounding out the group at the bottom. Aaron and Pete. Up top, just over $103,000. What a payday here on the HPT. The blinds are $10,000, $20,000. With a $3K ante, and we're so happy you joined us tonight for this episode. All right, Aaron's going to start off with a fold. Now over to Matt. He folds as well. Martin follows suit. Over to Travis now from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I know a little bit about that location.
I know you do.
He's going to fold now over to the 2-seat of our chip leader.
Well, he hadn't even had time to stack all his chips up, and I think he already wants to get involved in another hand.
Kenny Baggett, he is a dealer from Rogers, Arkansas, poker dealer. Only $375 invested in this event.
And right back with 2 8s after picking up 2 7s before.
Yeah, he's going to pocket 8s this time. Going to raise to 50,000. Brian Moon's going to make the call with his queen 5.
Interesting call.
Out of position. Makes the call. It's folded around now to Frank Patty in the 5-seat. And Frank is going to re-raise to $175,000 from the small blind.
Once again, I'm not a big fan of raising with weak aces. It just seems like it causes a lot of trouble. Always causes me trouble, at least.
Action over out of the original raiser. He's got the best hand with his pocket 8s. He's going to make the call. This should be enough to get Brian Moon out of the way, and it does just that. So now we are heads up to the flop. Frank and Kenny.
And we're going to be heads up to the flop here. Let's see the flop.
And the flop is a couple of deuces and a 10. The Doyle Brunson flop right there.
That's right. He won the main event with the 10 deuce. Call it the Texas Dolly.
Frank's going to bet $125,000. Kenny quickly makes the call. He's got 2 pair, 8s and deuces.
Seldom loses.
Frank Patty from Gladstone, Missouri. He got 26th at one of our events in 2014. Turn card now is the ace of hearts. Look at that. How the worm turns.
Yeah, it sure did. That helped Frank's hand out a lot. I don't think he'll get paid off, though. Kenny has to realize he has something in that range. The ace, the 10, something's got to have fit into Frank's hand.
Frank bets $275,000. Action over to Kenny.
Oh, wow. I don't like that call at all.
Kenny is going to make the call, and Boy, we got a big pot brewing here. Over 1.2 million chips in the middle. River card now the queen of spades. Action on Frank Patty. His plans for the cash, by the way, he wants to start a college fund for his daughter.
Good for him.
So Frank is going to check. Action now on Kenny.
Yeah, they might get a bluff here.
Kenny's going to bet 400,000 chips. Action over to Frank.
Oh, he's going to really regret when he sees Frank's hand, that's for sure, because now Frank's going to be back in the chip lead.
Yeah, just like that, Frank Patty from Gladstone, Missouri, takes over the chip lead once again. Huge pot there of just over 2 million chips. So up top, just over $103,000. We've also got the bracelet. And you can tell all your friends you're an HPT champion. That's the best part, Robert.
That's what it's all about. This is about glory and titles.
You are watching exclusive final table coverage of the HPT as we broadcast from the Ameristar Casino, Hotel, Kansas City. It's James and Robert. Action over to Kenny.
Just a limp.
Just a limp there with his ace-jack.
No raise in that spot.
Over to Brian Moon now. Brian's going to raise to 70,000 with his pocket fives. Pete folds, as does Frank. Now action over to Daniel. Look at that, pocket kings.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a re-raise here.
Re-raise indeed, a 3-bet now to 160,000. Quick fold by Aaron and Matt. Now action over to Martin in the big blind. And Martin is going to fold from the big blind. So action over to Kenny now.
Well, the problem with Kenny's hand is it's hard to define where he's at because he limped to begin with. If he gets raised and re-raised, then you might not even want to call this, but Kenny must know something I don't.
Kenny makes the call. Brian now with pocket fives. He's fishing for a set. He's going to make the call. So 3 players going to the flop. Daniel loves the action. He's ahead with his pocket kings. And the flop, look at that. Queen, Jack, 10, couple of hearts.
And actually, even though Kenny does catch a piece of that flop, that's not a great flop for Daniel because he's got to open in straight with the overpair.
275.
Kenny and Brian both checking. Daniel's going to make a bet now of 275,000 chips. It's going to be hard for Kenny to get away from this hand. He paired his jack. He's got the straight draw as well.
Yeah, so many times here, your hand is dominated. I don't like this call at all, but Kenny makes it.
Brian quickly gets out of the way, so now we're heads up to the turn. Couple of hearts out there too, Robert.
I did take that into consideration with Daniel having the king of hearts in his hand.
And the turn card, oh no, it's the ace of hearts.
What a great card for Daniel's hand. Gives him the nut straight and a royal flush draw.
Kenny makes 2 pair and he's all in. Daniel quickly makes the call. And Kenny's going to realize he's drawing to just an ace or a jack or a king to tie.
Yep. Otherwise, Kenny is going to exit.
A little surprised that Kenny went all in there, Robert.
Yeah.
Well, 3 hearts out there, a coordinated board. And the river card is the 3 of clubs, and that's going to do it for Kenny. And I'll be honest with you, Robert, I'm stunned. I'm shocked.
He went from the pit house to the outhouse.
He really did. What do you think was going through his mind as he put all his chips there in the middle with 2 pair?
He said, I've got 2 pair. It doesn't matter what anybody else has got, but there's 4 to a straight on the board, 3 cards to the flush.
Very coordinated board, but Kenny Baggett got them all in the middle. Unfortunately, things didn't work out, but not for nothing. He's going home with $10,828. And when we come back, we'll have more exciting final table action.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dana Workman, and things are heating up here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri. We are down to the final 8. So let's get right back to the action and see who's got what it takes to walk away with this life-changing money.
Leading the pack, Frank Patty, but right behind him, Daniel and Matt. Rounding out the group, Aaron and Pedro. And how about Kenny Baggett? He was our chip leader. Now he's going home.
And 2 hands later, chip leader to out.
Yeah, kind of a hero to a zero, as they say. We're glad you joined us tonight here on the HPT. Brian Moon folds over to Pete. Now, haven't seen much out of him here at this final table. Looks down at ace of hearts, 5 of diamonds.
Well, with a short stack, I thought we might see an all-in sometime soon, and we got it right there.
Right there. So Pete's all in. Frank's going to fold. Now action over to the 6th seat of Daniel. Daniel and Aaron fold. Now to the button we go. And Matt looks down at King Queen. A very popular hand here on the HPT.
Wow, I'm kind of surprised in position he didn't make that call with the King Queen.
Matt's going to fold now over to the small blind of Martin. He's asking for a count. Haven't seen Martin's cards yet.
Well, this is actually very significant to Martin's stack. So he's got a big, tough decision. He decides to make the call.
Martin is going to make the call, and on the big blind, Travis is going to fold. So we're going to flip over the cards, and Pete's going to see he's in a little bit of trouble here. Ace-10 going up against Ace-5. Pete trying to double up. If not, he's going to be eliminated in 8th place. Let's go ahead and see the flop.
Oh, and a disastrous flop for Pete. He's going to need runner, or his tournament's going to be over.
Martin flops 2 pair. Pete not happy at all. He started as the short stack. He found a position. He liked it, but not a good turn of events. Turn card now the queen of spades, so we got some chop outs now.
Yes, if a queen comes on the river, Pete could get half of this pot. I bet he'd be real happy to get that right now.
Not going to happen this time. King of spades comes on the river, and that is going to do it for Pete. Martin wins the hand. Going out in 8th place, though, is Pete Rihos. He's going home with $12,580. Congratulations to Pete.
And a good show of sportsmanship there, shaking everybody's hand at the table.
It's never fun to be eliminated at an HPT final table, especially tonight because we're playing for just over $103,000. All right, action continues here from the Ameristar Casino Hotel, Kansas City. Aaron looks down at 8-4 of clubs. He's going to fold. Over to Matt. Matt looks down at 9-8 of hearts. He's going to fold. Over to Martin in the 9 seat. Another fold. Not a Travis in the 1.
Not seeing a lot of suited connectors played today.
Travis folds. Now over to the button. And Brian Moon. And he is all in. Looks down at ace tray. He's going to get them all in the middle. Frank looks down at ace 10. He's probably going to get a count and probably make this call.
Once again, the weak ace gets himself in trouble.
Frank is our chip leader, so he's got a little bit of wiggle room. He's going to make the call. $294,000. He's suited up ace 10 of diamonds. And now a decision here for Daniel. He looks down at an ace 9. He's going to fold, so we go heads up, and Brian Moon's going to realize he's in a little bit of trouble.
3 of hearts, please.
Another dominated hand.
3 of hearts.
We could see another elimination here at this final table.
3 of hearts.
Pay jump now is $15,186 for 8th place. And the flop is 10-4 deuce. Not great for Brian. He's got the gutter ball possibilities now.
5 of clubs.
5 of diamonds. Come on, make it fun.
5 of clubs.
Like hit the 5 of diamonds
5 of clubs.
for the split.
Yeah, Frank's
Nobody
right.
wants to
5 of diamonds gives Brian
turning
the
dead.
straight.
That's
Then,
no
of
fun.
course, the flush draw for Frank. So they all want a little bit of TV excitement now. The tray of hearts comes on the
Now
turn.
a 5 of
Brian
clubs flop.
pairs his hand now.
We can
5 of clubs.
We can tie with a 5 of
Gives
clubs.
Brian a few more outs. He needs a 3 or a 5 for a
5 of clubs
split
to tie.
pot.
Okay.
They're both going over all those
3
options
clubs.
right now. Frank's smiling. Brian isn't. We go to the river card. This could be it for Brian Moon. He could be eliminated in 8th place. And the river card is the queen of clubs, and that is going to do it for Brian Moon. He's going home, but with a nice little payday, Robert, $15,186.
And his first ever HPT final table. Congratulations, Brian.
But the story that's really developing here at this final table is Frank Patty. This guy already was the chip leader, just won another big pot there and eliminated a player. He's going to be hard to stop.
And he's got another big hand, ace, king of hearts.
So might as well raise it up here, UTG. Why not? Raises to $52,000. Now over to Daniel. Blinds, by the way, 12,000, 24,000 with a 3K ante. Keep you posted on those as they go up here. And now a 3-bet to 115,000. And I think I'm seeing that right with the 6-5 of hearts.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad misstep from Daniel here. Surely Frank will play back at him.
Now it's folded over to Martin. He's in the small blind. And he's going to fold now to the big blind. Travis looks down at the Motown. Jack 5 should be a pretty easy fold for him, even though he's in the big blind. So now action over to Frank.
I much prefer a re-raise than just a flat call here.
What's Daniel doing here? Just making a play. Oh, by the way, a re-raise to 304,000. We're going to find out what Daniel's doing right now.
As I would have done with Frank's hand, too.
Look at this. He just doesn't want to let it go. He's thinking he's playing blackjack, and he's about to double down. He makes the call, out of position, makes the raise, out of position. What's going on here?
Well, I think he just went a little nuts with this hand, but he's being punished so far.
Flop is Jack 9-4, only 1 heart. Good news for Daniel. Had a couple of hearts came out. He'd really like his hand.
And Frank's leading right into this. Jack 9-4 board.
Frank bets 175,000.
385.
Wow. He's going to raise now to 385,000. And now I'm starting to like
I was
this.
going to say the metagames have begun. Wow.
We'll see if Frank can sniff this out, and he's not going to be able to. Daniel's going to win the hand. He played it perfectly. 6-5 of hearts, brother. You don't always have to have the best hand.
That's right. You just have to have the best bluff.
Most importantly, though, in that segment, we lost 2 players, Daniel and Pete. And if we keep up this pace, it's going to be a pretty fast show.
Hope it doesn't affect our pay scale. I mean, we might have a job after this.
Hey, don't be talking about things like that. We want to remind you to check out our webpage, www.hptpoker.com. Find an event that will work for you, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the unreal cash. We're giving out just over $103,000 tonight. Don't go too far. We've got more exciting final table action.
And welcome back to the HPT Final Table. I'm Dana Workman here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri, and we are 6-handed. Let's get back to the action.
Up top, leading the pack, Frank Patty having a great day here on the felt.
He sure has, but I'll tell you what, Daniel Lowry right behind and on the rise.
And speaking of Frank, talk about this. He's playing great poker, but you got to get cards too. And for Frank, he's catching cards and he's playing well. It's a dangerous combination.
It's a deadly combination for sure.
All right, the action continues. Blinds are 12,000, 24,000 with a 3K ante. Tonight we're going to give away 103,000 and change. To be exact, 103,326 up top. Action is on Martin. He's going to make the call with his ace-9. And now Travis folds on the button here from the 1 seed, and action over to the small blind of Frank. And look at this.
And the heater continues. He's got 2 kings.
I was just talking about this. We need to get this guy a dollar bill and have him go buy a lottery ticket down at the 7-Eleven.
Well, I always say he's holding more hands than a manicurist.
He's going to raise to 75,000 as he should. Daniel's going to fold from the big blind. Action over to Martin. And he is going to make the call. He's got the 1 over card, the ace-9 going up against the pocket kings. We'll see if Frank can continue this heater. Flop is Jack, 6 deuce, rainbow.
A good looking flop for Frank with an overpair to the board still.
Frank is reaching for chips. He's going to bet 65,000. And I think Martin here can maybe float 1 more street and try to catch his ace.
Raise.
Or he can raise.
Yes, he's playing a little more aggressive than we thought he would.
He's going to raise to 130,000. Frank happily makes the call.
Frank's going to make the call to 5 seat. 130,000.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have re-raised one more time with those 2 kings.
Turn card now the ace of spades. So this worked out perfectly for Martin. Absolutely perfectly. Frank checks over to Martin. Martin takes control of the hand.
Yeah, that's a really, really bad turn card for Frank with the 2 kings.
And going back to what you said, maybe if Frank re-raised him there, we wouldn't have even seen that ace of spades.
Can't let free cards come off there. They'll come back to haunt you.
So the bet's 200,000. Frank's got to make a decision now. He's been running so well tonight. He's going to make the call. And is he thinking, maybe I am beat, but I'm going to just see 1 more street, see if I can catch a king?
I think he still thinks he has the best hand. Wow.
Look at that, my friend. The king of spades. I tell you, this guy, Frank, can do nothing wrong.
And he checks it.
A wise check. I like it.
Slyly.
I like it.
200.
Martin bets 200,000.
Martin thinks he's value betting, but he's fixing to find out that
all in.
there's not going to be any value in this.
Frank is all in. Oh, this is tough for Martin.
Well, this is his tournament life right now.
Big decision here for Martin in the 9th seat. He makes the call.
All right, Martin says call.
And that is going to do it for Martin. A set of kings for Frank. Martin is shocked. He had him on the turn.
Martin looks pretty disgusted, but I don't blame him. It's one of those hands was hard to get away from.
He was behind, he was ahead, and now he's eliminated, going out in 6th place, $17,971. He still can't believe it, Robert.
He looks a little shell-shocked for sure.
All right, the action continues here from the Ameristar Casino Hotel, Kansas City. 312 entries, prize pool of just over $449,000, and action is on. The man from my home city, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Travis in the one seat, sporting the Iowa Hawkeye gear. Travis is going to raise now to $55,000 with his ace queen. Over to Daniel, throws away his jack 5. Now over to the big blind of Aaron.
Call 55.
Yeah, with suited ace, I would definitely defend that position.
Absolutely.
Also.
Absolutely. So it's ace 4 going up against ace queen. Travis and Aaron. And the flop, queen and a couple of 7s.
Well, great flop for Travis.
Aaron checks over to Travis. Haven't seen much out of either player at tonight's final table. That's about to change right now, as Travis is going to make a bet of $85,000.
Yeah, I can't see Aaron getting out of line here.
Travis Remmert from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, placed third at our Prairie Meadows event this year for just over $26,000.
Surprised by this call, Aaron decided to float this flop.
This is a real big float, though. A big boat to float. Turn card, 5 of spades. Aaron's going to check over to Travis, and this probably will end the hand here with this wager. Player's not talking a whole lot at this final table. He's going to bet $135,000. Aaron's thinking, I can either fold or come over the top.
Yeah, I think he might meet some resistance if he does, and he decides to fold.
The winner of the hand, Travis Remmert. He's got $100,000 in career winnings, trying to add to that. All right, it's time to take a quick commercial break, but before we do that, I want to let everybody know about the cruise we went on this year.
Earlier this year, HPT teamed up with Card Player Cruises to set sail on the high seas for a week of fun in the Western Caribbean. We began by boarding one of the largest ships in the world, Oasis of the Seas. We spent the week enjoying Caribbean drinks, good music, and exquisite food with hundreds of our closest friends. During the 7-day voyage, we made stops at several exotic tropical ports in places like the Bahamas, St. Martin, and the Virgin Islands. There is never a dull moment with Card Player Cruises. This ship was jam-packed with entertainment options, a zip line, a miniature golf course, 5 swimming pools, almost 30 different bars. The list goes on and on. And of course, with the HPT on board, there's plenty of poker. Daily cash games and nightly tournaments are all part of the experience. Join us this February for the next HPT cruise. You won't regret it. www.cardplayercruises.com.
Welcome back to the HPT final table, and we are down to 5. Things are heating up, and we don't want to miss any of the action, so let's get right back inside.
Chip counts look like that. Frank Patty still leading the group. Right behind him, Daniel, Matt, Travis, and Aaron rounding out the pack. So great to be back here at the Ameristar Kansas City. 140,000 square foot casino, 184 hotel rooms, 2,200 slots, 66 table games, and Robert, you like this, 7 dining options.
Ooh, I do like to dine. You're right about that.
7 dining options. My favorite, the Great Plains Cattle Company. Always a great steak, and you can't forget about the crab cakes they have in there. Anyway, enough about food. We digress. Back to the poker action. Frank, the chip leader, is going to raise to $52,000.
He is using his stack like a big bludgeon.
And I think that's what you want him to do here now, right?
Absolutely.
He's
He's
got the
lean on his opponents.
He's got the chips. He's got the momentum. Why not? Daniel's going to make the call as he's fishing for a set with his pocket deuces. Action now over to Matt.
Ace-7 suited. No, probably going to see a call here too.
Matt from the big blind now going to defend and make the call. Why not? Suited up Ace-7.
Very defensible hand for sure.
3-way action to the flop. Comes out Jack-7 deuce. Couple of hearts.
Wow, I'll tell you what. Matt flopped middle pair, but Daniel flopped a set.
Matt checks.
We could see some fireworks here.
All 3 players check. Daniel, perfect flop for him as he flops 3 deuces. 6 of clubs now comes on the turn.
And that gives Frank a pair. Now everybody's got a little something.
Everybody's got a little something, and Matt's reaching for chips.
Yeah, after that check on the flop, I don't blame Matt. I might have thought I had the best hand too.
81,000, and Daniel in just a great spot here. He's just hiding in the bushes right now. Matt has no idea that his opponent flopped a set. And he makes the call. Why not? Smooth call.
Yeah, I might have gone ahead and tried to raise there with a flush draw on the board.
River card now, the 10 of diamonds. Action once again on Matt. We'll see if he makes another bet.
Well, Matt has to think he has the best hand the way this hand's come down. But as we can see, Daniel actually has the best hand.
Matt checks over to Daniel. Talked about this before. Daniel's last cash was way back in 2009 on the HPT. He went home with $1,317 that day.
Well, Daniel needed to find the right size bet he can get paid off. So he bets a really smallish 170K. I like that bet sizing.
And Matt is going to fold. So a good fold by Matt. Daniel Lowry is going to win that pot. Now he's into this for just $375 as well. $375. He wants to say hello to his 3 children at home, Christian, Jenna, and Regan, all rooting on Dad here as he's trying to take down his first HPT final table, go home with the bracelet and the title, and don't forget, just over $103,000. That's the real important part, Robert. 5-handed poker here, coming to you from the Ameristar Casino, right here in Kansas City, Missouri. We started with 312, down to our final 5. The prize pool is just over $449,000. I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of our players for coming out here to the Ameristar Kansas City. Daniel folds. Action now to Aaron. He wakes up with a nice hand. Pocket tens.
This is clear cut. With his stack size, I think we're going to see an all-in maneuver here.
Yeah, these chips are going directly into the middle of the table. Aaron is all in. Action back to Matt now. And Matt is going to make the call. So we're going to flip over the cards. Pocket tens going up against the ace-9 of Matt. Aaron trying to double up and keep his tournament hopes alive here at the Ameristar Casino, Kansas City.
So it's Aaron's tournament life that's at stake right now, but he's starting out with the best hand. That's all he can hope for.
Aaron is a Kansas City native. He started as our short stack, so he's moved his way up the ladder here. Flop is King, Jack, 8. Good news for Aaron.
So far, so good. 2 tens holding up.
All right, let's see the turn card.
Still got to dodge that ace on the turn and the river. Tray of spades now, so great news for Aaron.
Only an ace can eliminate Aaron.
All right, let's see the river card.
River card now is the king of diamonds, so the double up is complete for Aaron. 2 pair kings and tens. We asked him before this final table, what are your plans for the cash? And he said, ask my wife.
Well, that's a smart answer. That's a smart husband.
It's a very smart answer. Like I said, he started as the smallest stack, and you think about it, the minimum cash here at this final table was $10,828. Right now, 5th place money, $22,913. So just because you have the short stack, Robert, you don't have to ever give up.
Gotta keep fighting.
And Robert, Frank looks very relaxed. He looks like he's been here before. He's poised to be our next champion and take home the loot.
I'll tell you what, consistency, aggression. This guy's got it all going on tonight.
I've got to ask you, you've been at these final tables. What's going through your mind? These players are so close to being our next champion.
I think what mostly goes through their mind is moving up the pay scale. Can I just inch up and get a little bit more money, and then you keep yourself eligible for that $103,000 and the HPT title?
Let's be honest, it's all about the money and, of course, the title. And when we come back, we'll have more exciting final table action. Welcome back to the HPT. I'm James Larson. He's Robert Williamson III. We're broadcasting this week from the beautiful Ameristar Casino Hotel, Kansas City. We were talking in the commercial break. It's been kind of a weird night on the felt.
One of those strange nights where you never know who's going to win the next pot because one minute they're chip leader, the next minute they're out.
We're playing for so much here in Kansas City. The championship and just over $103,000. Up top, the big prize pool here, $103,326 for first place. Frank Patty right now leading the pack, and he's been leading the pack pretty much the whole way.
I'll tell you what, he's had a dominant performance today, but Daniel's not too far behind him.
And it's poker, and it's the HPT, and anything can happen. Try to join us out here on the road sometime. You can find a list of all of our events at www.hptpoker.com. For this particular event, 312 entrants, a prize pool of just over $449,000. I just told you the great news. Our champion will go home with just over $103,000. Matt's going to raise it up to $50,000 with King 10.
$10,000 is the raise by Matt.
Action over to Travis in the 1 seat. just has not gotten much going tonight at this final table. Action over to Frank now. Everything's been working well for him.
I'll tell you what, something to keep in mind too. As we get more and more short-handed, these small aces become more and more powerful.
Absolutely. We're playing five-handed poker here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel, Kansas City. Heads up now, Frank and Matt going to the flop. And the flop is for Trey Deuce.
And no help for either of the two players, but normally speaking in this type of situation, the continuation bet takes a lot of these pots down.
Yeah, Frank does have the wheel draw there. He checks over to Matt. Both players checking now. Turn card now is the 4 of clubs. We'll see if either player decides to bet this street. Action will start with Frank. And he's reaching for chips, as he should.
Yep, he's not only got the best hand and the best draw, but he wants to punish Matt. No free cards. Can't give free cards.
No free card for you. And Matt going to float here with his King 10. He does make the call.
Yeah, I think Matt's purely floating, wanting to take this pot away from Frank on the river.
River card now is the Ace of Hearts.
I think that's going to be a hard card for Matt to steal this pot from Frank, because Frank made the top pair.
Frank checks, and now Matt here just on a stone-cold bluff.
Matt's going to bet.
He's going to go ahead and bet $67,000. Do you like a raise here or just a flat by Frank?
I think I just flat here.
And he does just that.
Straight out there on the board.
Frank was ahead every step of the way. So once again, I've been saying this all night long, the winner of the pot, Frank Patty from Gladstone, Missouri. Last year he finished 26th at an HPT event. His plans for the cash, no matter where he finishes, start a college fund for his daughter with the money. It's a great plan. Blinds are 12,000, 24,000 with a 3K ante. James Larson, Robert Williams hanging out. 5 players remain. This is the fun part. You know, we start with 9. It's a little clumsy with that many players. Now you're down to your final 5, and these players are really under the microscope.
I'll tell you what, too, when the prize money gets bigger and bigger and bigger the deeper you go, oof, gotta love it.
Battle of the blinds now. We start with Frank. He's going to raise it up to 60,000 with his King 8 of clubs. Now to the big blind. And Daniel, he's going to make the call with Queen 8. Frank versus Daniel. I want to put my money on Frank. He doesn't lose many hands. Right in the window there, the Ace of clubs. So 2 10s and an ace. Action will start with Frank. He checks over to Daniel. Both players checking that 10-10 ace flop.
All right, let's see the turn card.
Turn card now is the 9 of clubs. So good news there for Frankie is he's got the club draw.
Wow, I'm kind of surprised he took a free card here. With the flush draw, I think I'd had it led that turn card.
Frank with the flush draw, Danny with the straight draw. River card brings the Jack of diamonds. And just like that, Daniel makes a straight.
85,000 is the bet.
So Frank checks, Daniel bets, and now Frank makes the call, and Frank's going to see right there, maybe I should have bet one of those streets. Maybe I could have got Daniel to not be hanging around so long. Daniel hung around long enough, got the Jack of diamonds, then he makes the straight and wins the hand. Daniel Lowry, his last cash was way back in 2009. He cashed for $1,317. Now, right now, he's guaranteed just under $23,000, so he's improved.
Massive improvement.
Yeah, exactly. That was his 36th finish that he cashed for $1,317. Now, for this particular tournament, he's got just $375 invested. Another success story. You know, we run these qualifiers and these satellites, and that's great. He could go home with $103,326 with an investment of $375.
That's what I call a nice parlay.
Yeah, that's a mega parlay. All right, Travis raises to $55,000. Action now on Daniel. He's in the small blind.
180.
And he's going to raise. We're going to go up to 180.
Where earlier I didn't like some of the re-raises with the little aces, now 5-handed poker, I don't mind it near as much.
And we haven't seen a lot of big aces from the beginning of this tournament. All the aces was ace 4, ace 5,
There have been a lot of
ace 6.
smaller ones, you're
Seen
right.
pocket kings a couple of times, but not a lot of big aces. All right, heads up. To the flop we go. Flop, 2 queens and a 5.
220.
And Daniel reaching for chips.
220,000 is the bet announced by Daniel.
And when you make that big re-raise pre-flop, this is a great lead. You've got a continuation bet in this spot. It's a tough call for Travis.
It really is, and I think he's going to have to fold here, and he does just that. So the winner of the hand is Daniel. 5 players remain. We're trying to crown our new champion. That person will go home with just over $103,000. We'll be right back after these messages. You're watching the HPT.
And welcome back. I'm Dana Workman here at the Ameristar Casino Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri. And we only have 5 left until we crown our HPT champ. Let's get right back to it.
5 players remain. Frank Patty still on top. Right behind him, though, Daniel, Matt, Travis, and Aaron rounding out the group. Frank Patty's pretty much been the story all night long. This guy pretty much wire to wire so far.
Yeah, but Daniel Lowry sneaking up on him.
Blinds are $15,000, $30,000 with a 4K ante.
Let's get this thing up out of the mud.
Yeah, no kidding. $103,326 for our first place champion tonight. Action over to Travis in the 1 seat from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Me and Travis back in Cedar should go out for a beer. That's where I live, Robert.
You're fellow Iowan.
A Cedar Rapidian is what we call him. Travis is going to raise to $65,000. I'm kind of glad he doesn't play in my home game because this guy's pretty good.
65,000 is left.
Daniel makes the call with 8-6 from the small blind. Aaron's going to surrender in the big, and we go heads up to the flop, Danny and Travis.
Let's see the flop.
The flop, Jack 6-2, 2 spades.
Jack of spades, Daniel checks.
So both players catching a piece.
Yeah, a little something for everybody. Travis, of course, flopping top pair and top kicker.
Yeah, a little bigger piece for T. Daniel checks over to Travis. And the Iowegian, that's $95,000.
95,000 is bet by Travis. 95,000.
Daniel makes the call. 95 and a call. Haven't seen a whole lot of action cards tonight. They've been pretty flat flops and just not a whole lot of crazy poker going on. Turn card is the ace of diamonds.
And the best hand got even better.
Daniel's going to check over to Travis.
Well, surely Daniel will sniff this out because Travis was the original raiser.
Yeah, Daniel just with a pair of 6s. Travis reaching for chips. And he's going to make a bet of $200,000. See if Daniel just folds here. Or goes all in.
Wow, Travis has got to be loving this right now. Top 2 pair.
A snap call by Travis. Daniel, only thing he can catch here is one of the remaining 2 6s.
And Daniel has played such a patient, great game today. I don't know what happened. I think he just blew up right there.
River card, not a 6. It's the deuce of spades, so 2 pair aces and jacks. Travis wins the hand. Complete double up, and Daniel just kind of lost it there for a second.
I tell you, he played so good all day, so patient, and then all of a sudden, wow, he blew up.
Yeah, but the good news for Daniel, he's got a lot of chips. Really didn't hurt him that bad.
But a key double up for Travis, all the same.
Yeah, you don't want to keep a guy like Travis in the game. And a full double up for him as we continue now from the Ameristar Casino. Kansas City blinds, $15,000, $30,000 with a 4K ante. Again, another small ace. We just see a lot of that. Ace 4, ace 5, ace 7.
There's been a lot of them, more than normal, I would say.
Like you remind us, though, 5-handed, those small aces look a whole lot better. And Matt's going to raise to $60,000 with his ace 4. Over to Travis, who recently doubled up. Looks down at King 8. Got the headphones in now. He's going to fold. Over to the button now. And Frank, the one-man wrecking machine, he gets out of the way. Small blind now for Daniel. Looks down at ace-jack. See, look at all those chips. Just a mere flesh wound for Daniel. And wow, look at this. Aaron looks down at pocket queens.
Yep, sometimes you wake up with a big hand against hand.
I smell a 3-bet, my friend.
Yes, indeed.
Haven't seen a whole lot out of Aaron Will tonight. He's a Kansas City native. He started as the second smallest stack. He's a professional poker player. We talked about this before. We asked him what his plans for the cash were. He says, ask my wife. And that is an all-in. A 3-bet shove by Aaron, and I kind of like it.
I do, too. I think with his stack size, it's the only move he had.
I think so. We'll see if Matt's going to look him up. $343,000 to make the call.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see a call from Matt, but I would be surprised if we didn't see a call from Daniel.
And Daniel is going to make the call, and we're going to flip over our cards. Pocket queens for Aaron, going up against Daniel's ace-jack. Aaron hoping to double up and keep his tournament hopes alive here at the Ameristar Casino, Kansas City. And the flop is King 5 tray, couple of clubs, and so far, so good for Aaron.
Yep, Aaron only needs to avoid the tragic-looking ace.
So many landmines in tournament poker. That's not one of them. The 9 of diamonds.
Well, only the ace now can send Aaron home, or else he's going to get a well-needed and deserved double-up.
We go to the river card. It's the 6 of spades, so the double-up is complete for the Kansas City native. Aaron wins the hand. Daniel's got to be careful. He's got a lot of chips, but you don't want to keep doubling up the short stacks.
Those short stacks turn into big stacks pretty soon and can be dangerous to you. You definitely don't want to double up the short stacks.
Well, that's all the time we have on tonight's show. Make sure to join us next week as we will crown our newest HPT champion right here from the Ameristar Casino Hotel, Kansas City. And before we go, I want to remind you to check out our webpage, www.hptpoker.com. Find an event that will work for you, and who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. For Dana Workman, he's Robert Williamson III. I'm James Larson, and we'll see you next time on the HPT.